Um, so much to unpack, so much to discuss. Hi, Dustin. Thank you for being here. Let me just give it a few seconds for people to come in to the chat. Ow, just burning myself with my candle. I found a few gifts that I received over Christmas that I want to share that just sort of appeared within one this morning, and then a deck that I received as a gift that I know I've read with before, but not very often. It's called the Celestial Tarot. So I brought that out into circulation here. Hi, Martin. Hi, Darren. And where do we want to even begin? How are you all doing? How's it going? A lot of growth, a lot of change, big change, I feel. Definitely for myself and definitely for others that I know. And it's been interesting, this great slowdown that I've been experiencing and have fully surrendered to. Hi, Jess. So much love to you all too. Thank you all for being here. Yeah, this time around, through this void, through this slowdown. Hi, Lisa. I didn't have the same resistance that I used to have. Darren's doing good, says, thank you. Transmuting and transforming. I surrender. Very good. Yes, that is really important to do. Martin says 7 on a scale of 10. That's pretty good, right? We label things good, bad, whatever. Has anybody else been having profound or very symbolic dreams lately? I'll tell you, I actually want to start on that instead of in the void space, which for me really began with my forced rest of when I ended up getting sick with pneumonia, and of course had to surrender. So grateful that I had that experience, because there was so much that I needed to go within, and so much energy that I was also transmuting and receiving messages in a whole new way, and just really grateful for the experience. And I did make some adjustments and changes and choices and decisions in my life as far as my energetic output, what I'm going to commit myself to, what I can no longer commit myself to because it is no longer in alignment with my current energy and my current path. And not saying again that anything's good or bad, but having deep realizations, feeling my way through experiences, and recognizing, oh, I'm pushing myself through certain experiences because that's what I always did. It's survival mode, unconsciously, not even knowing that I had been doing that. So taking myself off the hook and making important adjustments for myself was a decision that wasn't hard to make at this time, even though it did, in my mind, it may affect my finances, it may affect other things. Going against the energy, going against what's in alignment with me energetically, is definitely not anything that I ever want to participate in again. I want to be able to recognize it right away before my body shuts down. You know what I mean? Let's see. Hi, Amy. Amy says, I connected with an Andromedan galactic guide a few nights ago in a dream. He wrote his name down in the dream, Clyde. It was amazing. Oh, that's so amazing. All right, let's get to the dreams. For me, and Dustin, Dustin is tied in on this, and oh, interesting. Got a lot. Okay. My light is doing very interesting things right now. Sorry. Okay. Getting to the dream. So it wasn't last night. So Saturday night for me. Saturday night. I remember even laying in bed before I went to sleep, feeling so much energy. Your light in your bathroom does that too. Yeah. I was laying in bed and I've had this off and on, but just a flash of so much energy, so much heat, so much going through my body and trying to get to sleep because it was uncomfortable. I wasn't able to. And I would open up my eyes and I could see what at first appeared to be like stars or it was a lot of little lights. And when I closed my eyes, it was like I was flying through space. You ever see those video clips of going through the stars and the space dust? And so I open my eyes, I see it all everywhere. And then my heart was started to beat really fast. I was having heart palpitations. The small mind in me was like, am I having a stroke? And I heard very clearly, no, you are witnessing and visually seeing with your eyes and your third eye the photonic light particles that have penetrated through the protective or the barrier that once was surrounding our magnetic field of the planet, and these light particles have impacted Earth. And I have been able to see it. Oh, I've got a lot of pressure in the back of my head all of a sudden. I have been able to see it outside even during the day, but it was so powerful Saturday night, and just feeling all the energy and electricity running through my body. It was a lot. Jess, I had that Friday night, says Jess, hot body issues, couldn't get my legs to sit still. Yep. Martin says restlessness. Yep. Amy says a lot of throat chakra issues, sore throat, feeling choked up. A lot of people are having that same symptom as well, Amy, I've noticed. I haven't, but I still have a lot of congestion in my lungs, in my chest area. So breathing is still touch and go for me. Thank you, Jay. So I had fallen asleep and then was awoken back up abruptly again around 11:11. And again, the energy is just flooding through my body, soaring through my bedroom, all everywhere. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is insane. This is crazy. And I'm getting a little bit of heat just talking about it. So I was up from 11:11, and the last time I had looked at the clock, it was 3:33. So I was wide awake in this cosmic energy, and a lot of things arising that didn't quite make sense. It was almost chaotic, and a lot of information, a lot of quick flashes of people's faces and things that have been said throughout my lifetime, and even through the collective. It was almost like I was just going through this tornado of collective energy. And I'm trying to recall back before I had fallen asleep, because I'm like, please just let me go to sleep. This is a lot. This is too much. And I don't know what to do. I'm sitting there, I'm like holding my crystals. I'm, doing breathing techniques, everything I can do to really just keep myself calm through all of this energy. And eventually I did end up falling asleep. However, I had the most intense, vivid dream that when I woke up, I was gasping for air and my heart was racing and it was my body was stressed. I was under a lot of stress in this dream. So I decoded the dream for myself personally, and then was told to share the dream. First, share it with Dustin. And, so I did. There was no rhyme or reason to any of it, but I shared it with Dustin, and apparently he had a very similar dream the same night. And we ended up talking on the phone and connecting a lot of the pieces. And we'll go into that with Dustin. Dustin took himself to the movies, which he hasn't done in a long time. And the movie he saw actually tied in with the dream that we were both kind of having in our own perspective way. But this dream, it started off with me going to work. I was in my old occupation and I was going to some work event in Philadelphia, close to near where I live. And I am too, Amy. Let me see what you guys are saying. Oh, thank you, Amy. Yes, I'm feeling better finally, because of solar flares' continuous attack on Earth. And I'm not getting that this is solar flare. We weren't having any like major solar activity at that time, but the magnetosphere and the atmospheric, these cosmic rays, the energy that comes from the planetaries and the star systems and everything else is now coming in, because we have pierced through this net, this layer, this containment that had kept us from receiving these light codes, this light energy. And now it is coming in, which is elevating our consciousness. It is elevating our psychic awareness, our ability to tap into different realms and connect, and definitely had a very deep impact on me. And I've had this before, and there's always been I don't want to say an up-leveling, but it is sort of like an activation that energizes my energy body, my magnetic field that surrounds me. And the amount of the amount of visions and communications I've been receiving from getting all of these light codes has been phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Amy saying, I'm loving all the cosmic light flooding on Earth right now. Yeah, it's actually amazing. Sometimes it's a bit much. But yeah, Dustin, the Thunderbolt movie deals with the void, loneliness, and shame. Very relevant to energies currently being brought up on our collective awareness for transmutation. Yep. And so that was definitely, there was a lot of dreams are always symbolic. There's to be able to properly interpret your dream is to understand the symbology behind what the dream is telling us. Amongst other things, we are in a fourth dimensional realm of existence, and most likely playing out some unfinished business in those realms as well. So that's definitely something that I have been doing in this dream. And it was work related, my old occupation, my old job. and very stressful. I ended up then in another area outside of Philadelphia, King of Prussia, for anybody that knows that area. And these names, the names, the King of Prussia Mall once at one point in time was one of the largest malls in the United States, possibly even the world. Now there's been other malls built since then, but they have the court and the plaza. And it was the mall in my dream, but it was these big giant structures that mostly were vacant or dark, and certain areas that had activities going on in them. I'm not going to tell you the entire dream, but basically I wanted to go home. I drove some people in my car and was trying to round up these so-called friends, and they were all kinds of characters that I used to hang out with a long time ago, and some were characters that I just know through TV or other things. Yes. And I told everybody at some point, I have to go home. I want to go home. Anybody that wants to ride with me, I'm leaving now. And there were two people that decided they wanted to go with me. So finding my car was the whole other journey, and it was stressful. We couldn't find it. There were all these roadblocks, and we got lost many times over, and reconnecting with people and losing people and reconnecting with people. And at one point I found myself at the top of part of the structure actually crumbled and fell. And I found myself in a Jeep like my son's. The Leo King, David Palmer, was in my dream, and it was his Jeep that I was driving over this rubble to try to get to my car. And, I'm going to butcher it because the stress level that I was under in this dream was ridiculous. I finally got to my car, and the two people that were in my car said, I need to go in. Oh, I had lost my purse. I lost my wallet. Then I found everything. And then these people wanted to go back inside to get something. I lost them. I went back in to find them. I got lost again. Couldn't find my car again. Had one other person try to help me find my car. And, then we got outside and it was snowing out, and she said, well, just ask one of these emergency vehicles, they were snowplows, to help you take you to your car. And as soon as I went to raise my hand like help, the snowplows crashed into each other and caught on fire. And I woke up like, what the hell is going on? And I heard very distinctively, that's what happens when you try to take people home with you on your journey. You get lost in their stuff. So that was the first thing. And then Sedna came through, the whole story about Sedna. And if you don't know the story about Sedna, I will tell very quickly. Sedna lived in a small fishing village, and her father wanted all his daughters to get married, and Sedna was not really wanting to just go off and get married to some stranger. So she was reluctant to do so, and then until this charismatic man appeared, and she felt really pulled to going with him and marrying him, and left for this island with him. And when they got there, he pulled his hood back, and he was a raven. And she realized very quickly that she was in the presence of a shaman, and that she was on a spiritual journey. And so her father, over some time, was getting a little restless as to not hearing from Sedna. He went to the island to retrieve her back. And she didn't want to go, but he took her into his boat, and they're leaving the island. They're out in the ocean, and the raven, he was out fishing, came back and realized what had happened, and with the tip of his wing against the current of the ocean, stirred up this giant storm that was life-threatening. So Sedna's dad was terrified and went to throw Sedna overboard off the boat, and she held on to the boat for dear life, and he hit her hands with the oars so hard that her fingers fell off and dropped into the sea and became sea creatures, and she had to let go and basically fall to the depths of the ocean, becoming the goddess, one of the goddesses of the ocean. The reason Sedna came to me, and Dustin and he had then sent me a video of Heather Ensworth and another cosmic astrologer. It's pretty recent, so I highly suggest like checking it out. I think it's on Heather Ensworth's YouTube channel. Sedna is currently in the Pleiadian constellation, and I have always had such a very strong connection to the Pleiadian energy. The Pleiadians, they come to me in many of my channelings and throughout my life. My grandmother as well, and my mother even. So it's very interesting, this father wounding that has been showing itself to me so deeply, not just my personal wounding through my father's actions or inactions, but the wounding that my father carried that passed on to me from his father, and so forth and so on. Let's see here. I just want to check you guys out here. One little drop in the ocean. Hello, good morning, everyone. That's morning in Australia. Good morning. It's weird, hey, like we're in the future down here. Goddess of the frigid Arctic. You know, and that's interesting that you mentioned the Arctic also, because Antarctica has been coming up in my conscious awareness very, very strongly. All of these random things are not random. It's just that I've been receiving information overload for the past 2 weeks, especially when I was down really sick. Jess says, I've been having some dreams, but nothing like that. There was more to it, but the moral of the story was, what I had been, one of the choices and decisions that I had already made for myself was that I was going to step away or back down from doing a certain occupation that I had been doing aside from doing readings that I used to do for money, and suddenly found that the energetics are not in alignment at all. Actually, I'm just replaying old stuff from my previous jobs in that, in repeating this type of occupation, putting my time and effort into something that is no longer in alignment with me, is depleting me of my energy. Which is definitely something that, a trait of my father's. And ironically, not ironically, the career path that I chose was the same as my father's. So it's not, there's no coincidences here on any of this. So I have stepped away, I've stepped back from that, and I'm reopening myself fully to committing to what feels right in my body, in my emotional body, in my energetic field. Hence, when I did that reading this morning, for any of you who had seen it, I was holding the cards like, I miss you. I feel like I have not really connected with the cards as much as I usually do, and that is true. So it was interesting that Sedna came to me, and then when I told Dustin about, I didn't even tell him about Sedna. He had sent me the video that they were talking about Sedna in the Pleiadian constellation that is very much kicking up a lot of this, a lot of our experiences right now. And I've been having dreams about Isis goddess. I don't know why. You know, it's important to when we have dreams and we have very specific deities come to us, you can ask, okay, can you tell me more as to why you've come to me, either in my dream or my waking state? Maybe do some research on the mythology itself, because most likely it tells a very closely tied story to an aspect of your life, our lives, that we are breaking free from, clearing away. And that's definitely something that my dream was talking about. But then going into what Dustin was talking about with the movie that he went to see, and it was heavily speaking about collective shame, the pain and the shame that has been placed on us, that we carry with us. And that's definitely linked for me personally to a father wound as well, that it was hard for me to really understand at an egoic level. Love my father. But there was definitely a lot of trauma and a lot of really horrific things that happened to him and that got passed on to me. But we're even talking about what we place our time, our energy, and I think in the last live I was talking about how my dad actually was an artist. He painted a lot of the paintings that are in my living room in my house, and that when he got drafted into Vietnam, when he came back, his mentality was different, and he basically got programmed into working in commercial arts and not putting his artistic, creative energy into something that spoke to him at a soul level, but it was something that would generate income and bring in money. And so I'm breaking that cycle for us both. Dustin watching the movie with his third eye open. Awesome to make such connections. Yeah, well, and I'm so grateful for the connection with Dustin too, because I walk this planet with my third eye wide open, and I see everything in symbols and through in between the lines and everything like that. So then I stumbled upon this morning another Christmas gift that was sitting on my bench over here, and it's just these little daily affirmations to the Gregorian calendar. So I turned and opened up Monday, May 5th, and it says, "People respect me and are very appreciative of everything that I do." And it's interesting because why do we have affirmations to begin with? To try and reprogram the mind. So there is that, again, that collective shame or that collective unworthiness, and that I'm not valued, I'm not appreciated, and yeah, that is definitely something that I couldn't see right away. But then when I really had to tap into the little girl within me that just didn't really receive that feeling of validation or that I was of any value. I knew I was loved for sure, but my parents had their own trauma that they were dealing with, and doing the best that they could in the 1970s with all the distractions that people were dealing with then. Jess, Amy and I started the documentary they have on Netflix about the Vietnam War. We had to turn it off. I can't imagine the things your dad experienced. I know. And see, that trauma has been passed down generation to generation from my father's side. My mom's side too, but not as traumatic. My grandfather on my mom's side was also in World War II, but he was a musician. He basically played the trumpet. So he had a different path in the war. But my grandfather on my dad's side in World War II was literally parachuted down on the beach of Omaha. He survived. He survived the entire war and came back and raised and had 8 kids, but died of cancer at a very young age. And yeah, more than that, there was a lot of heavy trauma that was brought home from that. Dustin, yes, Amy, the universe, our higher self, is constantly speaking to us, but in this divine now, the guidance is loud and constant. Lots of dots connected when we share our energy with soul family. Yes, yes, Martin, seen. Martin, it's interesting you say that word seen, question mark. Can you elaborate on that? Because that was definitely something that was arising within me, especially today when I was trying to connect to my dad. This whole Sedna and the father wound energy had really stirred up a lot of things, a lot of memories that maybe I didn't feel were relevant, but it's definitely part of the clearing. And part of that part of that clearing is yeah, I haven't the need to be seen, the need to be heard, the need to be witnessed, right? And that was pretty deep. That was pretty deep for me. But I'm so open to whatever comes through this big cloud of energy that we've been sort of swimming in. And for me personally, how I've been experiencing it, it's almost as if I've been catapulted through a giant energy stream, and it's just like thoughts, beliefs, people's faces, trauma, also the joy, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything's flying around my face and my awareness. And I'm just like, okay, okay, can we like either dial it down a little bit, or can you help me make some sense out of all of this? So when I began to really sit with all the energies, what came to the first message that I received was the clearing of the victim perpetrator loop, over and over and over again, that we humans have been doing for lifetimes and lifetimes. And also the rescuer savior archetype, which definitely, you know, we all have to some degree, and some way stronger than others. Even on the spiritual journey, you know, when you're awakened to a lot of truth and released from a lot of stigma and trauma and ways of being, and you just feel a lot of liberation. Of course, that doesn't last forever. We go deeper and we find other areas of life that we are still restricting ourselves, or we've been restricted. But you know, we want other people to have the same experiences that we're having. We want to help humanity get to a state of higher consciousness, higher awareness. Like, why are we here? Right? What's the point? We should be asking those questions. Very big, very deep questions, important questions. Yet it's not up to us to actually do that. Number one reason why I have this platform, because I can just put out what is coming through me and what I'm experiencing, and it's everybody's choice whether you're going to click onto the video, whether you're going to participate in the live. I'm not force feeding anything to anybody, but I'm having all of these experiences and realizations, and there's confirmation after confirmation after confirmation that I don't even think I need anymore. No more survival mode. Yes, that too. But I feel that has begun to lift substantially from my energy field. Although yesterday, I will say, after having that intense energy pouring in and then the dream and feeling like I hadn't slept at all, really feeling like I got pulled into some really like strange vortex, and seeing all of the, how do we say, still tests and challenges on, are you going to still react and respond in your old codependent way? Are you able to say no? That was another big one for me. And can you honor your own energy? And I was able to do it, but I was just so tired. I was like so tired of all the tests. Like, come on, can I just get a break for today? So that was yesterday. I literally was depleted of all of my energy resources by probably like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I was literally in bed asleep very early, and I slept for 12 hours. I slept for 12 hours. And I woke up this morning like, oh my God, I'm back. I'm back again. I feel alive. I feel like myself all over again. 12 in the chat, 7 like, oh, thank you, Dustin. We should do group meditation on Zoom. We should. Yeah, that would be good. That would be nice. I don't know how to even get that started. I'm so technologically, I think I had to take a huge break from technology. Hence my step down in another job occupation that I had, at least for a little while. I'm not saying that I'm not going to participate in technology. That's kind of ridiculous, for me, but it's fun. It's funny. I would love to participate in a group Zoom meditation for sure. Our tribe is strong. Yes, Dustin. Past traumas are so damn cruel. It doesn't go just like that. No, it does not. It does not. But I feel like we're doing a really good job. Jess, my body will never let me sleep more than 8 hours. 6 is a good solid number. I can't imagine what 12 feels like. Me too. I normally don't sleep that much. But I'm really needed it. I really needed it. Yeah, trauma work is like opening Pandora's box. Absolutely. Absolutely is. But it's important, because when we get deep into, and the shadow, I mean, that came out very strongly in this morning's message. It's there's so many different ways to go in there and tap into those parts. For me, it was parts work. It was IFS, internal family systems, really, really helped me dissect certain parts that would take over my consciousness at certain times, and I would be unconscious to it. Because we don't have just one part. We have multiple parts of ourselves, and a lot of them are trapped back in time at certain ages and certain years. And I've held parts work consultations with other people, and it's always been incredible. It's been an incredible thing to witness and an incredible thing to participate in, and I highly suggest it. It's same thing as shadow work. And I'm not coughing all the time, but I did have my incense was like blowing right towards me. Hi, Tori. Dopamine casino, says Martin. Dustin says, yes, Paige, great to acknowledge. We are all really doing a great job. I'm constantly getting from our guides and ancestors how proud. Oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So anytime you feel like down on yourself, or like, I'm not Doing so good. There's that collective shame, right? We are really doing an amazing job. And if we were not, we would not see a rise in consciousness on the planet. It takes a village, I'm hearing, but we're doing it. We're doing it, and it's not easy. It's not easy. Some of us signed up for a double mission. I noticed that if anybody ever looked into their life path and numerology, I have this incredible book that really spelled out why what I signed up for and why some things seemed extra challenging to me. Not to compare my life path to anybody else's, but of course we do at times. It's like, why? Why is it so difficult sometimes? Excuse me. This journey is tough, but it is so worth it. Amy is a life path number 7. I believe I'm a 5. I might have to get the book out to see, because it's not sticking in my head all of a sudden. Dustin is also a life path 7. Born in 77 at 1:11. Can't make it up. Cannot make it up. Jess is a life path 5. I'll be right back. I'm gonna get this book now. Because where is it? Crap. Now it's hidden from me. I don't know why I can't find this book all of a sudden. Okay, well, that's weird. I have 2 books now that have disappeared from my bookshelves. Oh well. So, I guess I don't need to be sharing. Oh wait. No. I have too many books. Hello, Carol Ann. Spiritual journey is so difficult, but unawakened people see us as some ugly shit. Don't know why. Oh, it's fear, basically, ego, not wanting to confront the truth, because that would mean that everything that they believed in is false. Everything that the life that they once knew as life is not at all what it is. And that's really hard for the ego to come to terms with. Hence, we go through these, what people would call ego death. The ego doesn't die, but it does transform and change over time, over and over and over and over again through the journey, because we do need our ego to be in these bodies, walking around on the planet, having a human experience. But this new ego on the spiritual path is not fully in the driver's seat. It is where the masculine and feminine energies within, or the left and right hemisphere of the brain, come into alignment and connect with the spiritual realms and the guides and the everything else and nature. And then you can allow your ego to actually be in awe, right? And wonder and co-creative. We are co-creators. We can choose, though. We can choose our consciousness. We can choose to be victims to life. which sometimes turns out through the ego to be opposite of the victim mentality, but it truly is in the deeper layers a form of victim. When somebody needs to be in control or have all the power and control, needs to be right, needs to be validated, needs to be seen, needs to be heard. It's all wounding. We've got a robin. Amy says, my ego is in the back seat. That's right. Going along for the ride. Because they can't handle the truth. Yep. You can't handle the truth. And the important thing is that we have to remember when we were there as well. And to have compassion for everybody. Everybody is in their own unique expression of consciousness, of thoughts, of beliefs. What else did we want to... Well, Pluto stationed retrograde yesterday. Felt that one. And this is a deeper dive into our inner psyche once again. Seeing our shadow, facing our shadow, giving ourselves a chance to have compassion and love for our shadow. And they're no longer hidden aspects of self. We then do become in the driver's seat, so to speak, of our co-creation when we're fully aware of the shadow. Oh, so interesting, Dustin. Lyra, or Lyra, however you want to pronounce it, that energy definitely came up in topic or conversation yesterday too. Six of Pentacles, Seven of Wands, such an interesting deck. Eight of Pentacles, Centaurus, and the overall energy, bottom of the deck, King of Pentacles, Cardinal Earth. Let me just sit with these cards for a minute here. Let's see what you guys are talking about here. Kentucky Derby horse that won was named Sovereignty. Interesting. I'm not a fan of horse racing. I don't like how we treat horses. Jess. And the second place horse was named Journalism. Carol Ann. I was watching TV and I thought everyone is obsessed with everything in life and not just people with OCD. Oh yeah, we all have our obsessions and our how does Ram Dass put it? Our neurotic behaviors. Our neurotic behaviors. So I feel as though there's been a chase. I mean, obviously, addictions. That's been a big theme, Martin, for sure. And Pluto's really going to be putting a spotlight on that. Our addictive patterns, our addictive behaviors, our attachments, our our levels of escapism. It's very interesting. I feel as though this is speaking of how we kind of get ourselves trapped by chasing the King of Pentacles energy from what we've been taught, from what our ego mind knows. I've got to do certain things or be a certain way and follow a certain protocol so that I can have everything that I need and want and desire to keep me safe and secure. It's materialism at its finest. Now, the King of Pentacles can also be an energy of legacy. I'm not really reading it here. I'm really reading it as Saturn and Capricorn energy, the old they're saying the American dream, what's been sold to us as far as, and it doesn't have to be American dream. I know not everybody here is American. What has been sold to us as far as, white picket fence and 2.5 kids and 2-car garage and blah, 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 like whatever it is. I mean, it's actually more elaborate than that these days, but I want to tap into this Lyra energy. So bear with me one second here. This is a new deck for me. Yeah. The task is to reclaim the erotic impulse, the poetic inspiration, and the internal muse through the battle of everyday life. When this card appears, the individual needs to remain heroic in facing challenges and disruptions imposed upon the creative life. So, this is very interesting. We go from the Six of Pentacles, the Seven of Wands, to the Eight of Pentacles, King of Pentacles. It's almost like there's an aspect of ourselves, and this is collective energy, so take it as it resonates for you, that has been pushing and working, and the word push, even pushing, forcing. I've got to get to this King of Pentacles state of being, or I'm not going to feel complete. I'm not going to feel safe enough to actually then open up to my creativity. There actually needs to be a sense of balance, of equality here. Lots of scorpionic energy. I do see that. Lilith is in Scorpio. Yep. Lilith is in Scorpio. Scorpio moon on the 12th to Mars and Leo still opposite Pluto retrograde. That clusters happening over on the anaretic degrees of Pisces, Aries. Whew! Yeah. Deep to the nucleus, says Martin. You're not alone in that, my brother. I've got to tell you, the depth of where I've been pulled into and what I've been bearing witness to, and energetically, it's a two-part. There's a part of releasing, detaching, untangling my energy from others, as well as maybe learning more energetic hygiene. Not learning, practicing more energetic hygiene. It's been a lot. So let's get deeper into this message. This is quite fascinating here. Many of us have been tested and challenged to the max when it comes to our pentacles, when it comes to our material reality and resources, specifically money and resources, but take it as it resonates for you. And finding that maybe where we thought it was at a balance, or it was at least at a level of comfort, eventually that imbalance started to arise once again, and the heat got cranked up, right? A lot. And it just caused all of these challenges and this disruptive energy. This is definitely my experience too. This disruptive energy towards like what it is that where our intentions were to begin with. Take it again as it resonates, whether it's through your workplace, whether it's through something that you're trying to create, or relationships, you name it. That imbalance. Okay, Luna's chiming in here. That imbalance made itself known once again through the Mars-Pluto opposition I'm feeling for most of us. And it's really took a toll on our energy field, on our creativity, maybe even our bank accounts. I don't know. I'm not really. Let's let's see. Or the fear that if I let this go, something. Okay. Something bad's going to happen, like reliving the past. Still shell-shocked from the past, from past experiences. I don't want to experience this again. I don't want to, here we go again. I'm hearing, here we go again. Carolyn, I have been using artwork and words in my artwork. Awesome. Martin, almost inexplainable. I know. It is hard to put into words. I feel you there. Because even me trying to describe like the things that I've been experiencing, and I lost track of time. I'm saying the last 2 weeks just because I had pneumonia for about 2 weeks, and that's when it really seemed like I was being tested. But in hindsight, I had been juggling for way too long before that, and it only was when my body got so sick and shut down that I had no choice but to not do anything, and then the clarity of like, oh, because it still was coming. What was needed from me that I couldn't give. And I saw it clearly, so I wasn't projecting back out, which we normally do, either energetically or verbally and emotionally, or all the above. But I saw it very clearly and was like, okay, I see that you're showing me a profound message here that I cannot deny, and I've got to make a change. And how do I do this? With love and compassion in my heart for all involved, right? So with that said, we had to take another deeper look at what is truly of value here. Because money is not of the highest value or the highest resource. It's nice to have, but if you know anybody that has a lot of money and they're not on the conscious path of self-love and love of humanity and earth and all sentient beings, you'll notice that they are probably the most unhappiest people on the planet. It's the resources that we receive when we are in flow with our heart open, when we're in flow with universal forces, when we are connected to nature and our true nature. Anybody else have pets that are just doing a little, acting a little strange lately too? Luna wants to make herself known right now. Amy says, you can have anything, but you can't have everything. That's right. So what's the choice? We go through these experiences so that we actually get to a place before we're on our deathbed. Because normally, from my experience, and I've witnessed a lot of people in my family and in my life, I've watched their passing, them leaving their body, and the hours or even days leading up to that is when the clarity arises of what had been truly of value, that they had been missing all along because they were trying to keep up with the, I don't want to say with the Joneses, because that's not necessarily the experience. It was more just survival and not putting the focus and time and energy into what really is of value. My loved ones, my children, nature, animals, our true nature. The Rat Race. That song played in my head over and over and over again last week. Bob Marley, Rat Race. And that was the day I had finally made the decision that I was stepping down from a position, because I felt that rat race, the old rat race that I used to be in, that like literally almost killed me energetically. Amy says, our cat stares at the ceiling sometimes, but nothing is there. At least we humans can't see it. My cat does it all the time. My grandson too, when he was when he was a baby. But he's also a seer. I had another experience with him too. I was telling Dustin. So these are really interesting. I will share. So I have this, what is known as an aerial silk. It's like what they use in Cirque du Soleil and whatnot. It's hanging from a tree and you can make it into a canopy. And my grandson likes to get into it and I wrap him up in it and I'll push him and he can't see outside of it. It's like he's cocooned in this fabric and it's like a hammock and he loves it. And so have him wrapped up. He always tells me, close the door. I want to be enclosed. He likes to be enclosed. He's extra sensory like me. So I close it all up and I'm like just pushing him and I'm staring up at the sky and I'm watching these beautiful white clouds go by and the contrast of the blue sky was deep blue that day. And I was just like in awe, like, oh, it's so beautiful. And all of a sudden Clay, my grandson in the hammock, says, beautiful clouds, blue sky. And I peek in and his eyes are closed. He cannot even see what I'm looking at all. And I closed it back up and I keep rocking. I'm like, what else do you see, Clay? And he's like, now it's purple. And I have been able to see a pinkish purple hue in the sky, especially when there's a lot of solar activity. But when I'm in deep meditation and have my eyes closed, I will see the clouds or this where I'm taken is usually magenta and purple and it goes through the clouds and stuff. So he was visually seeing first what I was looking at through his third eye and then connecting to what I connect to in my third eye. And my 3-year-old grandson, can't make it up. This just happened. That was Saturday. So yeah. The characters that society turned them into. Yeah. Carol Ann, I'm autistic. You know, I feel like many of us that are extrasensory are on some kind of spectrum. I'm not one to label or I'm not into diagnosis. I'm not into any of that stuff because I see everybody as being perfect exactly how we are and unique. And these abilities, like I was talking about, this not only telepathic ability, but for my 3-year-old grandson to see what my physical eyes were looking at and he's not able to see what I'm seeing, just was like, oh my God, we are so connected, like deeply, deeply connected. And I do know, and I do have one client who is severely autistic And I know that they, like, especially when you're connecting to them, but mostly the parents, but anybody that connects to them, they will read your mind. We are so connected. Like, and the telepathy tapes are now out to really prove that scientifically and whatnot. So if anybody does not know what I'm talking about with telepathy tapes, definitely research that, Google that. But yeah. Because it's so amazing. Most important thing is to go within, which could help people to heal their inner child. They distract themselves, and here they suffer, and the cycle goes on. Yep, Carol Ann, you know what was weird? I seen third eye on somebody I know's head, and I was thinking it was my OCD. I was talking about art ideas. Oh yeah, no. You most likely are definitely, I said most likely are definitely, having visions and visualizations and seeing what maybe you weren't able to see before. Just like my ability to see the cosmic rays, my ability to see, okay, we're doing, all right. My ability to see the light plasma that comes in when it's really heavy. I don't always, well, if I really focus, I can see it visually, not even third eye. It's taken me a long time to be okay with that, if that makes sense. Because of my programming, because of the conditioning, because there's a part of me that gets scared and is like, I need help. I need a teacher. I'm seeing way too much stuff. It's almost like, and I'm not on drugs, I'm not on hallucinogenics or anything like that. It's phenomenal and amazing, and I do love to share it. It seems like I have to really pick and choose who I share these experiences with, because some people will just look at me like, yeah, okay. Takes a few times to learn and to trust it. Yeah, even seeing an owls with green eyes. Yep. Yeah. And these are our psychic abilities, and it's a beautiful thing. And it really is something that I have spent many, many years embodying and embracing and sharing. And I know it is a beautiful gift that I can share with other people. And I have to get out of my own way of insecurity and that prosecution wound from long back. The old witch's wound, they would call it, being burned at the stake and things like that. These are definitely heavy energies that I have been working through for the past 7 years. And just when I think I've had a breakthrough, more things turn online. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm just still trying to get settled with what I'm working with now. But it is a beautiful experience. And I do have an amazing team and a beautiful community here too that I can share these things with and not feel judged or like I'm going to be condemned to some psychiatric ward or something like that, I believe it's a part of being in service to others, and we love that you share it. Oh, thank you. Yeah, definitely, definitely. And you know what breaks my heart is that, a lot of people have been diagnosed with schizophrenia and are placed in institutions and medicated because they're having these experiences, but they're not either grounded enough to recognize or remember, because it is a remembrance when these things happen. It's not this like that I'm just on some LSD acid trip, although sometimes it does feel that way. There's a resonance, there's a remembrance, there's more that arises for me. And I do, the Schumann resonance just spiked up. that goes along with the experience. So, and I also am very clairaudient, so I'm always hearing my guides. My main guide is always like, you're safe, you're okay, this is happening. So I'm always guided through it, and I don't have the panic attacks that I used to have like 10, 15 years ago. I used to like self-medicate because I'm like, turn it off, this is too much. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I'm not saying, I used to take medications too a long time ago. I'm no judgment there at all. When I realized that this was actually gifts that were birthing for me, and there was a deep fire and passion in my heart and soul, that I knew this was a path that my soul chose to take and that I wanted to take. It actually sings to my heart. I surrendered to it, and I stopped taking medications, and really went on the holistic path and really began to deeply connect with nature. And that's when everything really started to come together for me in a much more profound way. Oh, interesting. 11 people in the chat and 11 likes, 11, 11. So back to the cards, I think that the message here overall is we have the Empress in reverse with the King of Pentacles. So what actually distorts the divine feminine energy within us all, the Empress energy within us all, not gender, but energy, the mother, the Mary Magdalene energy, the energy of nature, the energy of Shakti, our true essence, our true life force energy that flows through us, is that patriarchal programming. The belief that I'm not anything or anyone important unless I am like in alignment with the material world that already exists. And we can see how distorted and distorted is not the word I want to use here, but we can see how disruptive even this energy has been for our planet and for humanity, and that it's at a tipping point. It is coming apart at the seams. There's this weird space in between. What are you saying? That void space, this space in between that we all find ourselves in from time to time, in between cycles, or as we are leaving one cycle and moving into a new cycle. That is so overlooked. It's like we want to rush through things. We want to race through this whole process and think that we understand and think that we know, and we find ourselves back in the distorted masculine energy over and over and over again in all different ways and shapes and forms. Yet even then, it's part of the process. It's totally part of the process. Final grasp for control, but it won't prevail. Stay in love, no fear. That's right. Oh yes, Carolyn. Martin's talking about grounding products. He had sent me a grounding pillowcase, which was very helpful. Definitely look into some alternative things that may help you as well. Yes, make friends with a big old mother tree and sit with her. That's my medicine. And I'm so blessed to live surrounded by trees, because they bring me back home over and over and over again whenever I am brought into a space of disruption, a space of confusion, a space of like my energy field has been because sometimes it gets infiltrated and the way I can tell is I don't feel good. Like suddenly I feel like somebody else's energy's in me and I can't blame them. There's a part of me that's holding the magnet, right? So we can't blame anybody. That's where I had to really get to the deep, deep nook and cranny of why does this keep happening for me in a certain scenario of my life. I made conscious choices to no longer be in this path. I made conscious choices to no longer interact in this type of energy. Why does it keep following me? And they are like, go deeper, go to the root. There's a piece, there's a part in you that still holds a magnetic charge. And life is trying to show you this. And when I sat with it and sat with it and sat with it, bam, there it was. It showed itself to me. Deep father wounding, things that I could not see before. So we're constantly being shown things we couldn't see before. All of us, everybody. Yeah, Mother Nature, whew, so important, so important. Nature will bring us back to our natural frequency almost instantly. And being bombarded with unnatural frequencies that we are now, there's a reason for all that. So when we talk about the veil, which the veil could be the veil of consciousness, it's also as within, so without, as below, as above, so below. It's all macro, micro. The veil, it's like a web or a net, energetic grid also. That's separate, okay, that has been around Earth, containing us in this matrix, like fish being caught up in a net. That's where we've been trapped. And our consciousness level stayed in this entrapment of some sort. Now that net has been pierced, it's been cut. Not everybody's falling out of the net, yet more and more people are freeing themselves from that net, that netting, and these cosmic rays and these solar plasma photonic light that are now penetrating Earth herself and our bodies and our magnetic fields of our bodies is waking up our consciousness. It's activating. So the heart chakra, they're showing me the heart chakra. The heart chakra is the center point of our physical body's energy field. The heart chakra is always open to a degree, but there we've got, if the lower chakras are not in a balanced, spinning, balanced state, that energy is not going to get up into the heart. It's going to be fragmented. So over the course of, especially this year, we've had root chakra, sacral chakra, and now solar plexus chakra activations. And this is why we are working still in the lower chakras of our fear, of our root chakra, fear, not feeling safe, not feeling grounded or connected or belonging to the planet. Sacral chakra, our very creation, our ability to connect to each other at a soul level, our ability to connect to nature at a soul level. And the solar plexus now, I've been feeling the solar plexus activations for the last couple of weeks very heavily as well. Our will, our drive, our self-confidence how we view ourselves, how we see ourselves. So all that gunk in the trunk, stuff that's been hidden, is like getting activated over and over and over and over again, because once we can penetrate and open up that heart and live from the heart, that is our true essence, our true being. So we're working in the lower chakras for quite some time. And yeah, Kundalini. I always tell people that, be careful what you wish for. A lot of people want to have this Kundalini Shakti rise, and I'm like, that's great. It is a great experience. I had a spontaneous Kundalini awakening, and I will tell you, at first it was complete and utter magic and bliss until the energy went back down into the lower chakras, and I was not prepared at all for what I had to then go through and purge. And we're talking years of deep purge, years of deep inner trauma and wounding that surfaced over and over and over again, until that's all I could do was focus on that, on working with that. And yes, I made it. I survived it. But we're talking powerful energy that it's very hard to even put words to. It will rise again. Yeah, oh yeah. I've been having those minis off and on, even the other night when like the heat was rising in my whole body, and there's just energetic zaps. Low back pain suddenly hits, and I'm like, oh, here we go again. If you ever walk around and you suddenly get zaps like in your tailbone, that's the Kundalini ready to get stirred up, and like that's just energy. It's not just energy, it is powerful awakening energy. And some people go into psychosis there, because it's really, really traumatizing when it's blissful. Some people are diagnosed with bipolar, right? A borderline personality. No, not borderline, bipolar. Yeah. Manic depressive, because it's like up and down. And when you're in the upper chakras, you're in this magical, mystical wonderland or crazy town, depending on how you perceive it. Going back down to the lower chakras, we've all got trauma, stored pain, stored fear down there that we've got to work with. So that's what these energy blasts are really doing. It's like, let's get it balanced. Let's work on this. The awareness of it, being consciously aware that this is what's happening, is so helpful, because then we don't have to rely on diagnosis and being, ostracized, or there are so many communities of beautiful souls that are going through all of this stuff with us. So we're not alone, not at all, not at all. All right. So I'm pretty sure, let's see if any other messages want to come through with these cards. We had the Sun in reverse with the Seven of Wands card, which is the chaos, the challenging energies that really have it's this interesting depiction of it's almost like it feels like there's a haunting, right? Like this is very spiritual. All these energies, these consciousnesses like swirling around and challenging and testing us. That's what I felt like. I'm like, what did I say? What my dream was like. It was like, what's that song? Clowns to the left of me and jokers to the right. Here I am stuck in the middle with you. Hey, Jacob, thank you for spreading some love. Welcome. Yeah, so when we're in that kind of energetic experience, it can deplete us of our life force energy. Yesterday, I hit a wall. I'm like, I'm so tired. I can't even explain in words how exhausted I am from even just that, from energy work. And it was not intentional energy work. It was energy that came to me and said, okay, work with me. um, so know that you may have some down points energetically. You may have points in the journey when we're tested, when we're challenged, that it feels as though life is against us or just depleting us of our energy. Surrender again. When you think you've surrendered, surrender some more. Doesn't mean to give up. It means surrender control. Know that there are greater forces that are working with us at this time. We do need to bring things back into balance over and over again. Two of Pentacles in reverse. Well, we're starting off with the Two of Wands. So the Two of Wands with the Six of Pentacles. This is dreaming a new dream, visualizing a new vision. And can you hold that vision? Can you bring that vision to creation through your energy field? It requires balance. Requires balance within ourselves. It requires balance of our energy and our energy centers of the body also. Because it feels as though, and it may, I'm hearing it's temporary, but for many people, it may feel as though, well, I feel like this card in reverse, that they're saying the juggling is over, or the in between, 1 foot in one world, 1 foot in the other world. When we have a vision, when we have when we have a very strong vision, is not even the word for it, but I guess if a lot of people will call it manifestation, that is so heavily distorted, it's ridiculous, because we really have to burn ourselves down to the ground in the fire and rise from the phoenix of the ashes before we can actually truly become a co-creator and allow it to become tangible, and that we can actually stay in that flow. Sure, we can manifest and we can create relationships, jobs, YouTube channels, whatever, like our dreams, our desires. But if we're not in alignment with it all the way, the energy will eventually either fizzle out, or it will challenge us so deeply that we can't keep up with it. So know that as well. It's really important that we know what it is that we truly, what our soul desires. It's important to hold that vision on a daily basis, and not just the vision, but the sensation, the feeling. My vision has been, I want to have a farm. I want to have property, a lot of property where I can have horses and donkeys and multiple homes on the property for family and for friends. And I want to build a retreat center, and I have a visual of the exact dome that I want to build for doing healing ceremonies in. I've even seen one on Instagram. The universe will start showing you little clips of things that tie in with your dream or your daydream or your visualization, and it's all coming together. These are all things that I've always dreamt of. But now it's come together in such a perfect vision that I can feel it. I can feel myself there. And my guides are constantly telling me, hold the vision, hold the vision, hold the light. No expectation on how it's going to be done. All of those things are true, but just hold the vision. Wow, we are navigating some very interesting energy for sure. Yeah. Make sure. Oh yes, definitely. Lots of sage on that property. Yep. Yes, big gardens, sage, you name it. I have the whole vision is there. And I've had, actually, I think that I've been on this particular property because when the vision came to me, I hadn't been able to daydream or visualize my own dream in years. I've been living in other people's manifestations for the last 6 or 7 years while I'm going through these constant changes and transformations. And then finally, bam, it came to me while I was sick, laying on my hammock out in my yard, with the chainsaws going on, laying under the trees and putting nature sounds in my headphones so that I could get out of the disruptive sounds that have been following me for the last 2 months, which are starting to die down now, finally. But yeah, I got really excited. I'm like, oh, I've even been here before. Yes, dream big, everyone. Don't give up on your dreams either. This is, it's art. It truly is an artistic expression to co-create with the divine, to co-create with source energy, to recognize that we hold that source energy within us. We are source energy. We are the co-creators. All the undoing, all the lower chakra energy work that we are doing is helping us to get there, is helping us to have that pure, true vision and alignment with the vision. We would need to be in alignment with what it is that we desire. And there are many times where like my ego's like, I'm totally in alignment with what I desire. And I've manifested things that I've desired and realized really quickly, like, oh, I'm not quite ready for this yet. I'm not quite in alignment with this yet. And so that's also, you know, really important to understand. So you may feel like you've been juggling, you may feel like you've been in between worlds or in and out, and that's what we've all been doing right now. We are swimming in such an interesting soup of energy for sure. But the more, you know, and I used to think that if I shared my visions or dreams with other people that they would ruin it or mess it up for me. But then I realized that they might have just been picking up on my own doubts and insecurities. So I have no doubt anymore. I have no doubt. I have no insecurity about my vision. If anything, I'm excited about it. And I do share it because if I can keep this dream alive and invoke the dream in other people as well, that's just empowering the energy to be even greater, you know? Yeah. Lots of love. Have a good time at work. Try to enjoy your day at work. Thank you for joining in. Let's get one more message for us all. We talked about lower chakras. We didn't talk a whole lot about Pluto going retrograde, but I feel like we're going to have a lot of opportunities to do that over the next couple of months as we experience it. I really don't like to talk on anything I haven't quite experienced yet, and this is such a new energetic that I want to have the experience. I do know that this is something that we're not going to be able to really bypass. And if we are trying to bypass or escape from, we're going to be shown those patterns really heavily, really strongly, which I welcome that. Because we all have the unconscious mind that comes into operation from time to time. And so I'm at a stage in my journey where I welcome these taps on the shoulder, you know. Let's get a message from Kuan Yin to wrap this up. So good to have you guys all here. And I hope that you have your dreams that you're able to sit with, even if it's only for 5-10 minutes a day. Although I really try to keep mine alive almost throughout the day, especially when I go on walks in nature. There's certain there's a park right down the street from me that I was walking through the paths of the park. Maybe some of you had seen my short, and I was holding this visualization like this was part of the property of my dream, and it was going along the stream and everything. And then there was this other path that I hadn't taken probably in like 6 months or so. So I had to climb up this hill. And so I went up to the top of the hill and followed this other path. And they came along all these prayer flags and the Ho'oponopono and the beads and somebody had made an incomplete sanctuary and shrine there. And I'm just like, wow, this is so cool. Never seen that at the park before. It was definitely calling my name. Amy says, we have vision dream board in our bedroom. Go ahead. You know, and I never really got into doing the vision boards for some reason. But maybe I'll give it a try. I have the vision is so vivid in my mind's eye that it won't go away now. It is there. And I do recall in my past having these types of visualizations and holding it just for fun, never realizing that I'm actually co-creating. And then lo and behold, it would happen. And I'm a little stubborn. It took me a long time to realize, like, oh, I'm actually doing this. This is actually happening. It reminded me of the base camp on Mount Everest with those flags. Yeah, it was so, I was just like, oh my God, this is amazing to stumble upon after having an encounter with the chainsaws and the wood chippers and the leaf blowers. I had just had enough of that stuff. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to hold my dream. We're going to dream. We're going to visualize through this whole thing. And then coming across that, I was just like, thank you, universe. I love it when you bring the fun and the magic back into it all. The prayer flags, yes. Yeah, it was amazing. And it actually, I've gone up there a couple times since then. Yeah, it was definitely synchronization for sure. Absolutely. What do you have for us, Quinion? And there's been a lot of other synchronizations since then too. Like, you can't make it up kind of things. I was saying to Dustin yesterday, and because I had been so exhausted, I'm like, I really am excited about all this stuff, but there are times where my energy's so depleted, I'm so tired that I don't appear to be. I can't even like get into that exciting feeling because energy. Because sometimes these energies really zap me, but it's temporary, you know. No? Okay. Got a lot of flippers here. Okay, thank you. Whew. Sisters of the Sun Rising. Number 28. Okay. Here is our final message for this evening. You are highly creative. You are a highly creative being with the potential to help raise the vibration of consciousness on this planet through your creative projects, work, dreams, and hobbies. The power of collaboration, choosing to work with others in joint projects, allows for synergy to occur, where you can grow stronger and become more than the sum of your individual parts, calling in great cosmic assistance and potency. You are guided to remain open to other souls joining forces with you, just like the Sisters of the Sun Rising, that great, it's starting to rain really hard here. Just like the Sisters of the Sun Rising, that that bring great energy to help humanity through their group endeavors. When you allow for aligned group effort, much that is wonderful can occur. This has been another big message for me, because in my birth chart, even in a past life, I was very successful at whatever it was that I did, but I did it on my own. And this time, my Libra ascendant and my Pluto placement is also telling me that I need to learn to trust others and to collaborate with others in group endeavors and group visions for assisting humanity's consciousness and the earth. And I feel like many of you here probably have the same experiences. It is an important part of the spiritual journey to learn who you are and how you work, and often solitary work is a helpful way to do this. Yet there are times when you are strong enough to work with others without losing yourself or your unique approach to creative endeavors. Collaboration is suggested for you now to allow you to expand your horizons, to meet other people, share your light, and have more fun. Your collaborations may be with spiritual guides or with souls incarnated and coming into your life in the forms of colleagues, friends, and helpers now. Trust your instincts and be discerning in what you accept and what you let pass you by. There will be plenty of opportunities for you as you are open to them, but do trust yourself enough to take a leap and some risks that feel uplifting for you in reaching out or accepting the offers of others to work together. Sisters of the Sun Rising knows that the sunlight can grow strong when souls join together in creative endeavors, allowing different flavors of the divine to come through in each project, making it richer than it would be with just one flavor alone. This oracle is also guidance to remain true to yourself in collaborative efforts. You may be struggling between compromise and staying true to who you are and how you work. You don't need to compromise. You need to honor your boundaries and the boundaries of others, and trust that when you are meant to work together, you will find a way not to compete, but to complement, and perhaps also complement each other so that you can all shine together. The Sisters of the Sun Rising are calling you to find ways not to diminish yourself in collaboration with others, but to dare to become more of yourself together. If you've pulled this card together with the Sisters of the Star Blossoms, then there's a special encouragement to collaborate with others in a group situation or in... Okay, we didn't pull that with that one. This oracle also indicates that in any relationship you may have now, there is a healing taking place. And if you look for the win-win solutions, no matter how tricky it might seem to find that wisdom at first, it is there to be found. You will have successfully collaborated as souls, finding healing. Well done. That resonates for me as well, because I found throughout my life that I find what I consider soul family, soul tribe, and absolutely, yes, they always are. But then there's always dynamics that will either try to, it's difficult, right, to collaborate with people, especially if we're not all fully knowing ourselves and knowing this journey, the power of projection and reflection, you know. Hi, Luna. Shadow work. Yes, yes, yes. We're doing a lot of that too. And we need other people to be able to see our shadow, our reflection, right? It's important. Amy, keep your heart open to dreams, for as long as there's a dream, there is hope. And where there is hope, there is joy in living. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I really resonate with this last message too. It is important that we work with each other, that we collaborate with each other, that we honor our boundaries and other people's boundaries, and honor the gift of reflection that we receive when we're working with others, instead of projecting or placing blame out to others, or playing the victim, perpetrator roles, you know, all the archetypes that arise when we collaborate with each other. I do see a future, a beautiful future of highly evolved souls, highly evolved, mature souls here, people, humans that are working together and collaborating. And I keep that vision also very strongly in my heart. And I do believe that it is time. It is time. It's time for us all. So thank you all for being here, for connecting, collaborating in all of this beautiful energy that we're sharing here. And I think we're going to end the reading for thank you for, I don't know how Batman came through all of a sudden. I was trying not to laugh in that one. Thank you. Thank you, Amy. So funny. Anyway, I have so much love, so much respect for everyone on the human journey, all of us. This is not easy. We're doing it. We're doing amazing. And keep the dreams alive, for sure. I don't even like to use the word hope anymore. Believe it. Trust. Believe it. And it's changing that saying, I'll see it, I'll believe it when I see it. No, I'll see it when I believe it. So keep believing in the dream. Believe it. You have to believe it in the dream. Oh my gosh. Have a good week, everybody. That's right. Ask the universe for something good today for everybody. Yes, for everybody. Oh, thank you all. I love having this, holding this space with each other. This is beautiful. So thank you again. So much love. And let's just keep riding these waves. I do feel like we're out of a lot of the high intensity stuff for now. There's always going to be contrast. There's always going to be challenges. But boy, oh boy. Also, let's continue to connect and share our experiences with all this cosmic energy that's coming in, these big cosmic rays that are coming in, and activating our physical bodies and all of our sensory systems, because that's interesting. And these are things I certainly like to talk more about too. So much love. Take care, everybody. Bye.